Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for choosing Worldview Channel 247. Tonight, we bring you the latest developments from the Middle East. On the night of June 13th, Iran retaliated by launching a barrage of ballistic missiles at Israel's Kiryas complex, commonly referred to as the country's Pentagon. Situated in central Tel Aviv, Kiryas houses both the Ministry of Defense and the General Staff of the Israel Defense Forces, IDF. Within the same grounds lies the historic Kiryat Base, one of Israel's original military installations since 1948 and the long-standing headquarters of the IDF. Fox News' international correspondent James reported live from the scene. We are standing at the IDF's main command center in Kiryas. Moments ago, one of these buildings was struck directly by a ballistic warhead. According to military sources, Iran fired approximately 150 ballistic missiles toward Israel throughout the evening. The targets included not only civilian neighborhoods, but also key military installations. Our camera crews surveyed entire apartment blocks, reduced to rubble, while rescue teams combed through the debris for any signs of life. As air raid sirens blared, journalist James and Fox's Middle East bureau chief sought refuge in an underground shelter. One missile impact was so powerful it shook the bunker's concrete walls. Despite Israel's multi-tiered air defense umbrella Iron Dome for short-range rockets, David's Sling for medium-range threats, and the Arrow system for long-range ballistic missiles, several Iranian warheads penetrated all defensive layers. A Fox News analyst observed, "These are not the unguided rockets we've seen before. They're sophisticated heavy ballistic warheads capable of overwhelming missile defenses." Tehran has declared its intent to become the first nation to neutralize stealth F-35 fighter jets belonging to Israel by downing 2 of them. Iran's military public affairs office claims that its air defense units shot down 2 F-35s along with multiple Israeli drones during this assault. State news outlet Tasnim reported that one of the pilots, allegedly a female officer, ejected safely and was subsequently detained. These statements were widely shared on Iran's official X, formerly Twitter, account. However, the IDF flatly denied these reports. Arabic language IDF spokesperson Avice Adrea called the Iranian claims categorically false and utter fabrications. Prior to the missile barrage, Tehran had dispatched over 100 unmanned aerial vehicles toward Israeli targets to avenge an earlier preemptive strike by Israel. Israeli defense officials stated that the majority of these drones were intercepted by their air defense network. Nevertheless, a follow-on wave of ballistic missiles succeeded in striking multiple Israeli cities. In response, Defense Minister Yoav Gallant warned that targeting civilian areas crossed a red line and that Tehran would pay a heavy price for such actions. The cycle of violence escalated when Israel launched a large-scale airstrike on June 13th against Iran's nuclear and military infrastructure. That strike killed 4 senior Iranian commanders, including Major General Mohammad Bagheri and Major General Hossein Salami. Iranian media claimed that 6 nuclear scientists and 78 non-combatants, women and children among them, also perished, with dozens more wounded in the raids. The New York Times confirmed these were precision strikes aimed at facilities such as the Natanz uranium enrichment plant and Revolutionary Guard bases. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu dubbed the Operation Lion's Roar, describing it as a necessary measure to prevent Iran from obtaining nuclear weapons capabilities. In turn, Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, vowed austere retribution. State news agency IRNA reported that Tehran launched more than 100 drones, followed by ballistic missiles at Israel's military and nuclear sites. Defense analysts note that in any direct confrontation, Israel holds a qualitative advantage due to superior technology and intelligence assets. Israel is widely believed to possess around 90 nuclear warheads, serving as a critical strategic deterrent. According to the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, Israel fields approximately 612 combat aircraft, F-15s, F-16s, and F-35s, while Iran maintains some 551 fighters, most of which are legacy models hampered by sanctions. At sea, Israel's Navy, though relatively small, operates missile craft and Dolphin-class submarines, capable of deploying nuclear-capable cruise missiles. Iran's naval doctrine relies on swarms of fast attack boats, mini-submarines, and shore-based anti-ship missiles. But its larger surface fleet remains outdated and vulnerable. On missile defense, Israel's multi-layer architecture remains world-class Iron Dome for short-range rockets, David's Sling to intercept medium-range threats, and the Arrow system to defeat incoming ballistic missiles. Meanwhile, Israel's Jericho 3 strategic missiles, boasting a 4,800 to 6,500 kilometer range, form the backbone of its long-range deterrent. Iran has invested heavily in its own missile arsenal, assembling the largest stockpile in the Middle East. Shahab 3 Tukumahai T-4,000 kilometer range gather over 2,000 kilometer, and the highly mobile Khorramshahr missile 450 kilometer. These systems were front and center in the June 13th strikes. Iran also supplies allied militias, chiefly Hezbollah, with vast numbers of short-range rockets and cruise missiles. In the cyber domain, Israel's Unit 8200 and Cyber Command wield world-class offensive and defensive capabilities. The IRGC's cyber units have expanded but are widely regarded as less sophisticated than their Israeli counterparts. In Washington, officials are closely monitoring the crisis. The U.S. Navy has redeployed the guided missile destroyer USS Thomas Hudner from the western Mediterranean toward the eastern basin. A second destroyer stands on standby. Approximately 40,000 U.S. troops are currently stationed across the Middle East, up from the usual 30,000 to deter further escalation. The aircraft carrier USS John C. Stennis operates in the Arabian Sea, while USS Ronald Reagan patrols the Indo-Pacific. USS George Washington recently left port in Japan and could be redirected if necessary. White House press secretary statements confirm that President Donald Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu have spoken multiple times, including before Israel's unprecedented strikes on Iranian soil. President Trump remains publicly committed to resuming nuclear diplomacy with Tehran before the current 60-day deadline expires. U.S. Special Envoy Steve Beck is prepared to meet Iranian officials in Oman this weekend, and Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin continues dialogue with his Iranian counterpart. That concludes our special report. Stay tuned to Worldview Channel 247 for ongoing coverage.